apparently we get a 50... Oh my god, that's great. We just got a 54% discount on all buildings for 16 months for was it 450k? That is just insane. 450k. You literally build 2 toy factories and we've already made money from this. Alright everybody, hello and welcome back to another episode on Rise of Industry with me, Spacefish. For a few episodes now, we have had quite a bit of issues with our logistics setup, because we've kind of focused most of our things in one region around, well, mostly 2 warehouses. We have really had quite a pileup of trucks and goods that we were thus far quite unable to move, and I've spent like 2 episodes now trying to rectify that. We first started set up an air purifier up here that, well, we just had that much smog coming from the trucks that we needed to clear that up, just as is emerging down here as well now. We even set up a railroad. That was not enough, and in the end, in the last episode, we finally resorted to a Zeppelin hangar. Now we've got Zeppelins going back and forth between this warehouse and another one to try and, well, lower the amount of goods that have to flow using the streets and get more stuff sold out and hopefully somewhat balance things out again. The warehouse is still absolutely jam-packed with goods, and, well, we can only really hope that now with the introduction of the Zeppelins this is going to calm down quite a bit, and that we then also will find some new ways of transport in order to allow for even more things, because, well, we do have quite a lot of plans for the future in terms of new products that we want to take on and new expansions that we want to go for. So, well, you know, working logistics will most certainly truly count. But just quickly then, before we get started with the next changes, if you're new around here and haven't done so just yet, please consider subscribing right down below. We're trying to hit 1k subscribers by the end of the year, and, well, there's a whole lot still to go, so every single one would help out a ton, and if you've done so, thank you very much, of course. That said, though, we've got an autosave going on, and let's see what can be the next things to do. So, we've set up quite an array of toy factories down here, a lot of these being for toy train production down here, but we have also got a few for toy furniture, of course, which is already all working nicely, and then we have got a good bunch of these, which are taking care of stuffing. Now, for stuffing, we had already sort of had some plans to move on with that, because if we look at the toy store right here, we do have teddy bears all the way up here, which give us 46.84k compared to just 15k for the stuffing, so very, very nice indeed. And all that we will need on top of the stuffing is, well, wool or a garment, which we should be getting up here from our sheep farm. Now, I'm not quite sure how much we get here, 2 per field, so we would actually already be getting 6 units of garment, which I think may be enough to cover all of our needs. The interesting part also being that we do, of course, get mutton, for which we should already have now to find. The other interesting part that we will maybe actually quickly look at before this is if we have actually defined the outs for all the other products, because, of course, we always end up taking a few contracts in between here and there for which we have to route out things or goods to different destinations, and then once those contracts are finished, we have to set that up again. So, just quickly checking this out, we've got the farmers market in Webams and Kochsfeld, both for the beef, because, well, we've got quite high production at this point. We've got the leather routed out, we've got the mutton routed out, and we have got the milk routed out to... I'm confused. Warehouse 5? Oh yeah, right, because we're, of course, moving all the for sale goods over via Zeppelins now, and then, you know, that is kind of doing work for us. Alongside, what we also quickly wanted to take care of, as far as I remember, was actually increasing the loading capacity of Zeppelins to kind of aid that transformation in our logistics ways a bit more. I mean, Zeppelin speed wouldn't be all too terrible either. Total cost 1.8 million for either of them is quite hefty. So maybe we'll keep it at this for now and just kind of see if things are going to develop our way or if we really need that. In the meanwhile, I'm not sure we've got the teddy bears research yet. We do, so we won't need to do that. I mean, the stuffing, we've got research. We're already making that. We should have a bunch of stuffing down here in the toy factory, which is currently just being sold out as far as I know. Oh wait, that's the cotton. That's the so the stuffing is being sold out to the toy store as of now. And we'll kind of have to see, because I think in terms of the stuffing, we've got some overhead potentials in the future. We should be making 2 per toy factory, and I think we've got 3 that are taking care of it. We've actually got 4, so kind of a bit of an overhead there. But maybe that'll also mean that we need to produce even more of the garments. Okay, so that is sort of that then. Let's maybe quickly look at the pollution heat map, because honestly, I would really like to actually set up these factories sort of in the vicinity of this air purifier, because, you know, that would at least spare us the extra logistics of, well, another air purifier, setting that up somewhere else, you know, carrying the water over, using even more water. So, ideally, I would want to set up like a factory park out here. You know, you can see the range is still quite big, and we would have a bit of space. The question sort of being, though, how much transforming the terrain would cost us in this way. So 25k sounds quite expensive to me. I feel like that may be... Oh no. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of... I would say another water purifier is good. Well, not water, another air purifier is going to be a whole lot cheaper for us. So we are most certainly not going to go that route. The question then being, where are we going to do this? Because I still would really like to do this somewhere in the vicinity of this warehouse. Because of course we do have the stuffing already in there. It would mean that we don't have to carry it over to yet another warehouse to kind of continue with things there. I don't know. I'm not sure that's possible, though. Say it like that, because we're really out of space out here. I mean, we've got the... The thing is, this sort of logistics could turn out to be quite the nightmare in terms of actually setting them up. The only alternative that I can really think about would be setting things up right here, but that would kind of block off the oil refinery possibilities on that shore right there. The other alternative would be all the way out here, but that would mean on the one hand side probably getting like a railway all the way over to that new warehouse, or at least this warehouse, then setting all the things up and then having like zeppelins flying things all the way out to the city. I mean, it's quite complicated. You know, I would really just like to work on with this park that we've got going down here, but the terraforming cost is quite astonishing with that one. Maybe we can still... I'm thinking we could maybe still use this by pulling the road out down here and just maybe not quite as streamlining the factories as much as we usually do. You know, just putting them all over the place a bit more than I guess we're used to. The thing also kind of is, we don't really have the money for more than like 1 or 2, so we'll have to get things going rather slowly here. We could, if we can actually get out of the pollution heat map, maybe just start with 1 and get time playing as well. Well, actually, once we've set this thing up, we'll get time playing. We'll actually start earning some money again, because you can see we're down at 1.6 million, and that is including a loan that we've already taken out a while ago. So, you know, got to be careful with that. The state is in desperate need for raw resources for a few... Oh, yeah, right. That's an old thing. We don't really care too much about that. So, teddy bears is the idea for this one then. I'm not 100% positive, but I think I was already sending my garment over to this warehouse. And we're currently selling it out to the hardware store, it appears, which is requiring said garment. Now, we're going to set the min cap, though, to 8, or maybe we're not going to sell it out at all anymore, because, well, no, I think we're gonna have to slowly do that. So we're gonna keep the min kept to 8 for the time being, so we can use that for the factories within our vicinity. If and when we get to the point where we're kind of over, well, where we kind of need all the stuff for the toy factories, we're probably gonna scrap that in total. But then again, the thing is, I think with what we're currently producing in terms of stuffing, we would need 4 toy factories, which would require a total of 10 units of garment in the time period. No, 8 units of garment in the time period where we're currently making 6. So we would maybe need another sheep farm, and in that case, it could very well be the case that, well, I don't know. But now we just have some overhead that we sell out to the hardware store. So we'll see about that. We've got this thing. This should already be auto set technically. I'm not sure which number of a toy factory this is. This is 15, but let's double check. You can see the garment right here. You can see the stuffing right there. That is auto set. We should also have an auto incoming destination for the teddy bears, which is 2 every 30 days. Absolutely beautiful. And then we're going to set a destination for these teddy bears. Of course, well, actually, maybe we don't even have to, because technically the toy store is already in range. So, yep, there you go. All being moved out to the toy store when we receive it. So auto logistics doing their part for us. Absolutely beautiful. I think we can make this work down here, to be honest. I mean, you've got a bit of area to work with. We should be able to somehow squeeze in 4 factories right here, I hope. Maybe we'll have to cover up that lake a tad bit, but I can imagine it's not going to be quite as expensive as, you know, filling in this whole piece of land right here. So we're going to start out like this, and we're going to hope that things are going to be going fine. Now, we're on 3 times speed, but I would say that is quite good, because honestly, I mean, for the on the one hand side, we want to see this hopefully relax a bit, and on the other hand side, well, we want to also quickly make some money, so we can actually make some more toy factories right there. But you can see, you know, with the expenses and everything, we'll probably have to wait for a minute for that to settle down. Now, in terms of the inventory of this warehouse, and we've currently got 17 beef to webams, which, well, I very much like, I have to say. Let's bid on that. We're going to try and get that for ourselves, because that's, of course, a very lucrative contract. 250% of the usual price, you know. Very, very nice. It would be great if we get that. We can always use the extra money. The livestock farm here is in a bit of a pickle, it appears. I'm not sure what sort of pickle that's supposed to be. Destination storage. Oh, yeah, great. So, we still have issues with this very warehouse right here. If we look into storage, you can see that the beef is still absolutely jam-packed. And that is despite the airplanes, not airplanes, but the Zeppelins relentlessly going back and forth in order to try and move things over. You can see it empties and it fills up again that very second, basically. So we did win the beef to webams, which, you know, is a great start, but I'm going to have to sort of somewhat see how in the world we are going to do that. Livestock, of course, the beef goes out to webams. Now, the one thing with the beef is that all has to be transported by road, because, well, unfortunately in Panowitz we don't have anything, and I don't have any separate warehouses out here anywhere. Maybe we should start getting that going as well to more quickly sell out the beef. But I'm also not quite sure how this whole Zeppelin thing works, because, I mean, it feels as though there is always just a limited amount of Zeppelins in the air. I'm not sure if that's a limited amount of Zeppelins between 2 warehouses, or there's a certain time that it takes for them to fill up, or how exactly that works. But, whew, I mean, not sure. The one thing that we can maybe say for ourselves is that the amount of milk in here goes down quite considerably, so maybe it's just doing one thing after another, and the leather is going to go down next. I'm really not quite sure if this is going to be able to balance itself out, if we're going to need to upgrade the Zeppelins. I kind of hope that we don't have to upgrade the Zeppelins, because quite frankly, I mean, that's just a lot of money that we don't really have at the moment. 1.8 million is basically all of our money, and we could very much use that a lot better by investing into more toy factories. Speaking of which, we're going to speed up time even a bit more. And we're going to wait for the next sell cycle, just like that one. And I have to say I'm quite concerned, because we are usually getting like 600, 700k in a month, and then that's about the same amount that seems to be going out currently. So I'm really not quite sure how we're accomplishing that. If we look down here, we supposedly have a positive balance sheet by 400k. But somehow, that doesn't quite seem to be panning out. I mean, on the one hand side, we've got the loans going out, which is quite the big factor, of course, because that's lowering our overall income. But I'm quite sure that before the end-of-month kind of balance sheet came out just now, we were at 2 million. And we just popped back down to 2 million after getting our income. I'm really not quite sure how that's a possibility when we're supposedly having a positive balance sheet by 400k. So, I'm not quite sure if I have to be worried or not, or how things are going. I mean, the one thing that I would really like to get rid of course, now is going to be my loan, but that's probably going to take me a bit more time. If we look right here, monthly payment, 152k for this one, 83k for that one. And, well, this one only has like 2.3 million remaining, so that's actually not too terrible. We do have a 10% interest on that one. So, you know, ideally, we would probably want to pay that off prematurely if we can. There doesn't seem there's, like, any penalty for that or something. So that, I suppose, would be overall an option. You can see right here, I mean, the vehicle upkeep is starting to pile up and everything, which is totally fine, I suppose. That's the way that things work. On one hand side, though, the beef is actually draining from there. So that's somewhat good news, I would say. And you can see here, 2.7 million. And, I mean, money's draining again? The month is not quite over yet, I suppose. Not sure if there's going to be more sales coming or how does that work. Is there like 2 sales cycles a month? We do have 13 leather to Panowitz now, which is quite beautiful. We're going to definitely go and take that. Just choose that as an extra destination. I'm not going to delete the other destinations anymore because I feel that's always more trouble than it's worth, especially given with all the overhang that we do have. So, oh, right, we cannot do that quite yet, because we've, of course, not won the contract, so let's not get too far ahead of ourselves and just hope that that works. I'm just going to quickly wait for this month to finish, and we're at 3.5 million, then we're down to 2.7 million. I suppose it always happens because the loans and everything start piling up at the start of the month. That's why we kind of get kicked down a bit, but overall, 2.8 mil is certainly a lot better than what we were just at. What I would do, though, I think, is actually quickly pay off the loan. Because that's going to save us 152k a month, and it's also going to save us 10% interest rates for another 16 months. So, well, on the one hand side, we could do that. On the other hand side, we could use the excess money to actually go and invest into another toy factory or two, which would probably actually be more profitable than what we pay here for the interest. What will we pay for a loan currently? Not less than we currently are. I'm not sure if that ever changes, to be honest, in terms of interest rate. I mean, given that there is one, I would assume that is also possible that that can change. But for the time being, I suppose that's not going to change for us. Now, the interesting point here being just how far, if we can just quickly open that again, this pollution protection goes out to, and how exactly we want to ideally position our factory. This way I would kind of close things off, so I can't do things that way. We're going to do things this way instead. You can see that this is starting to sort of thin out here at the outer edges. Now, I'm not quite sure if this thinning out means I should be absolutely worried about things, or it's still going to be effective enough, or how exactly that's going to work. I mean, we're very close to the border there. The thing is, we're also not too close to its city. In worst case, we could probably just plant some trees around it. It's still technically blue, so we're just going to hope that that's a good thing, and that that's going to work out for us. 2 more toy factories. We're going to stay at 1.6 mil, just to, you know, keep some breathing room going, as usual. I'm going to get rid of that tad bit of street right there, and this thing is protesting, it seems. Pathing, cannot reach. I'm not sure why you cannot reach a warehouse, because very evidently you can. But what we can maybe do is shorten the pathing up here a bit, so that, you know, we can divert some of the traffic along some other roads, so not all the traffic goes along the same roads, and hopefully we'll have less of a traffic jam than we usually do. But yeah, that seems to have kind of fixed itself. It's not protesting anymore. The issue being, though, that we actually want teddy bears in here, not stuffed things. So, teddy bears, please do that. And yeah, I suppose that's quite fine. We also just won the leather thing. I did not look up again. Could have absolutely lost that one there, but we didn't, so all good. Everyone's happy. We've got that done. Let's go and route out the leather. And we apparently still even have that choose destination thing. We just have to actually add in destination. And there goes the town centre right there. Now the good news is, the really good news is, for a start in this episode, that we are finally seeming to somewhat be doing well in terms of logistics. The warehouse is emptying up again, and, well, we don't have, well, we do still have an insane influx of trucks, but the warehouse is emptying up again. We're getting that somewhere, and things seem to be working out a bit better for us than they were just a few episodes ago. So that's really good news, and hopefully we can sort of keep it at that. You know, next productions, I think we're going to spread out to other warehouses to avoid having this whole chaos again, except for we could probably have it with the factories down here, but let's see just how that's going to go. You know, fingers crossed that we're somehow going to be able to pull through with this one right here. That said, this is another 2 teddy bear factories for us, which should be absolutely beautiful and make us a whole lot more money than we were making before, which is also absolutely beautiful. The thing is, now we're going to start using up all the stuffing that we previously used to sell to the toy store. So we could now start making all that stuffing again in even more factories. The question sort of starts to become, though, where in the world are we supposed to place all those? I am thinking that potentially we're just going to make that up here, you know, have like another few cotton fields around this warehouse and have the factories right in that zone, and then just kind of move things on from that warehouse and sell them to the toy store. Maybe even throw Zeppelins once more. We'll see, because that's quite a long distance, and I feel like covering that distance would be a whole lot more efficient with Zeppelins rather than trucks. But yeah, we'll have to see about that. I'm not quite sure. We will keep things flowing like this for a minute, and we'll see just how well we do. Apparently quite incredibly well, because we are at a whole lot of money, and we're down a whole lot of money again, but we're overall making 300k. I suppose the overall profit was probably a bit lower, because we were just pushing a bunch of stock into these toy factories, I guess? Not quite sure. Maybe it's also just because we're not selling off as much stockpiled stuff as we used to. But one way or another, we're back at 2.6 mil now. So I'm kind of tempted to go and build the last toy factory. We're probably going to make that a reality right here. I think this here should be still in range. So let's go and connect that up to... That's kind of the last toy factory that we can squeeze in right here. So the rest of the stuffing, we can probably make a profit on it. I hope we can make a profit on it. We're going to have to make it somewhere else. So, and that also means that, consequently, the dolls that we were planning on to also make with stuffing, which, you know, in turn will make us make even more stuffing, we'll also have to make somewhere else. So we'll think about that. But it's absolutely insane, to be honest, just how much of this little plot of land that we can actually, you know, do our business in, we've actually completely filled with industries. It's quite insane. So maybe we will soonish have to actually look at expanding out to other markets. I don't know, you know, like our competitors are doing. I'm actually really not liking this. They have a whole lot more markets covered than I actually thought they were covering. It seems that the only one that is still not owned by any competitor is Hull up here. So I guess that may be the one that we have to go for. Holy bejesus, that's quite crazy. I mean, they actually took it all. I'm not sure how they managed to get all the money together for all these permits. I suppose they just took on a whole lot of loans or something. But that's quite crazy, and I suppose they're also worth a lot at this point. Holy moly. I mean, we're still kind of holding on for dear life, but they're worth a whole lot more. I'm not sure how loans affect this whole equation, though, like, in terms of value. I'm not sure. And I guess I can't see how many loans they have taken out, so I don't know. But I suppose that what also adds into this value thing is the amount of permits they have, because of course a permit was like worth 10 mil or 12 or something. It was quite the insane amount of money you had to pay to actually get another permit, so I suppose we'll have to see about that one, but we'll keep things at this for the time being. I hope that Panovitz is also going to grow for us. Overall, you know, 300k now, town is prospering, that's absolutely beautiful. Probably going to get some more stores, some more demands and stuff. We'll have to see. Cost of all buildings reduced by 54% for 16 months. That's insane. That's probably going to be quite the bidding fest, to be fair. I'm going to have to see if I need to, for this purpose, maybe take out another loan to be able to take that. You know, just swap my loan through. Pay off the old one, get a new one. I'm not sure. If I get this thing for 150k, it's going to be an absolute crazy bargain, and we're going to be swimming in money, but you can see that's most certainly not going to happen. I mean, the AI wants that one too. It's, of course, a very, very good deal, and it's probably going to take a few days of bidding for us to actually get that one. I don't quite know where we want to end up this time, because last time I think we had a 36% discount for about the same time period, and we were already at like a mil or something that seemed worth for us. Apparently, we get a 50... Oh my god, that's great. We just got a 54% discount on all buildings for 16 months. For was it 450k? That is just insane. 450k. You literally build 2 toy factories and we've already made money from this. I am absolutely mind-boggled that the AI just let me have that for this price, because this is going to be huge for us, even bigger than the first one. What we can now do, and what we are going to do, is we're going to go take out a new loan, a big one, probably like 10 mil or something. We're going to pay off the old one that we have like 2 mil-ish remaining, I think, currently. If we can check that out, we've got like 2.08, so we'll have 8 mil to spend. We'll build cotton farms, we'll build toy factories, we'll build Zeppelin stuff, and we'll make as much use of this PR event as we possibly can, hopefully saving millions in the progress, catching up on enterprise value a lot, building a whole lot more of industries for our business, and hopefully flourishing even more. So honestly, this PR event, even better than the first one. Really looking forward to that, to be honest. But unfortunately, the time for this episode has already come to an end. So we'll look at loans and building more things in the next episode then. Hopefully make a whole lot of money, or save a whole lot of money from all this, and boost our growth even further, catch up more to the AI, and make sure that we stay the flourishing company we are. But for today, I'm going to end it off right here. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. As usual, of course, if you did, please make sure to hit that like button down below. That does always help out the channel a ton. And if you're new around here and haven't done so just yet, also, please consider subscribing right down below, as well as hitting that bell icon in order to stay up to date on all the future upcoming episodes. With all that out of the way, though, as usual, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next episode very soon. Ciao.